Today we're going to be removing our absolutely horrible DV8 front bumper on our GX460 that absolutely tore itself apart, and we're going to be replacing it with the very popular bumper by LilB's Fabrication out of Colorado. Alright, let's get this garbage piece of crap DV8 bumper off this Lexus GX460. This bumper has been absolutely horrible. So here we are, dismantling it. Those are Baja Design fog lights. They, of course, are really, really good, and we're going to reuse them on the new LilB's bumper. So I'm taking out the fog lights here and putting them aside to reuse later. So this is the bottom of the DV8 bumper skid or whatever. And, you know, this thing is held together by no less than 5,000 bolts and nuts. It's not a one-piece design like the LilB's bumper. It's this kind of, you know, piece it together in 40 different pieces style of bumper. So that bumper will be good for scrap metal, you know, to practice welding with. Anyway, this is the rest of it. As you can see, like I was saying, it comes in a million different pieces. So that's not the whole bumper. You got to get this crap off too. You can see where it mounts to the ladder frame. These triangular pieces that I'm taking out here, that mounts to the ladder frame through those triangular pieces there, and they broke too. There's your winch plate. We never dared put a winch there because it couldn't hold its own weight. And this piece here again is part of the bottom skid for the bumper. Take note of the frame of the GX460. It's perfectly fine. So when people say, oh, you beat up this GX460, you beat it up, and that's why the DV8 bumper failed, that's nonsense. The OEM Toyota ladder frame is made out of Japanese steel that is engineered, and it is perfectly fine. Not a crack in it, nothing's bent, it's fine. These skid plates, which are by RCI, which actually take the brunt of the rock hits when we're off-road, those RCI skids are all fine. They're dented, but none of them cracked or broke a weld. The DV8 bumper just had inferior Chinese steel and inferior welding. So moving on, we are painting the LilB's bumper here, and this is just being painted flat black. Alright, so this is attempt one to kind of test fit the new LilB's bumper on the car and make sure you don't have it upside down like we did. Because you're going to have to flip it around like you see that. Alright, that's not really going to be able to be test fitted unless I remove this white plastic OEM bumper. And that's why this is coming off. All right, once you get it roughly lined up and sitting on one of these bolts, you can see I put one in backwards. That's what LilB said to do, and that helped kind of index it. You know, it helped get this heavy thing on the frame. That's what I'm trying to ramble here. And then it's just a matter of putting in these 4 OEM bolts back into the frame. Again, take note of that ladder frame. That sucker is A-OK and straight as an arrow. It just is a testament to Toyota engineering versus the CAD nonsense DV8 bumper that really couldn't handle its own weight. See those triangles? See the way this thing mounts? See all those triangles going across? Like, you know, the triangle is one of the strongest members or shapes in engineering. And the way this mounts here is this big backer plate with these 4 bolts on either side. It goes all the way across. And then you have, as you can see, those triangle members, you know, just triangulating things. And then you have these side plate brackets or whatever here. So you're going to have a side plate on each side. They're identical. And they also connect back to the frame down by that radiator support, where you can see there's an aftermarket front recovery hook there, that oval looking thing. But anyway, it all ties together, and that's very nice. And we just see a lot of triangulation here. Now it's on to the Baja Designs fog lights. And we're mounting them on the kind of mounting rail. LilB's gives you 2 slots, front and rear, to fit a variety of lights. This is going to be the turn signal, this weird looking light. And there it is again. There. So that's not going to be a fog light or a driving light. We're going to use that for the turn signal. And that has yellow LEDs, 3 on each side. We're going to install load resistors. That's what this is, to avoid the hyper flash. So put these things in. If you want to cure your hyper flash problem, you just wire them in parallel. There's no positive or negative. You just put them in, and it tricks it into thinking there's the load of a OEM incandescent bulb in the mix, and it flashes normally like you see there. So let's take a look at this new front bumper by LilB's. But before we do, I got something special that you're gonna like. This is made in Japan. That's right, we've got some KYB titanium shock body with HarmoFreak technology and 14 adjustable dampening points. We got springs that are actually made in Japan, again, out of titanium alloy. Don't put any other suspension lift kit on your Japanese-made Toyota truck or SUV. KYB is the only genuine Japanese aftermarket lift kit for the 4Runner GX FJ Cruiser, and they're available here in America. And coming soon, I'm going to install this kit on our GX460 because it's made in Japan. And you're going to find out that this HarmoFreak technology inside of this top tier world-class Japanese-made KYB shock is not a gimmick. There's actually a whole nother set of valves forward of the main valves that's actually frequency sensitive. That is going to be a game changer off-road, and is part of the reason why we have these to show you soon. So here it is, the finished product. As you can see, it looks really cool. Looks, of course, are subjective, but if you like what you see is what you get. Now, as far as installation goes, it was very, very straightforward. If you're mechanical in any way, you can do it. There's nothing complex about the installation. The customer service from LilB's was excellent. I thought when I ordered this thing that it was going to be some ridiculous 6 to 8 week lead time, and instead their website promised a 2-week lead time. But I actually got a call a week later from LilB's saying that the bumper had shipped out.
So as far as customer service, the experience with LilB's should exceed your expectations because they essentially cut their lead time in half for this particular bumper. Now take note, this bumper looks very black right now, and the rest of the black on the car is a dirty gray sandy black. And so the final product of this car will look more matched. The thing is going to be dirty black like the rest of the car and the tires. This is just what it looks like when it hasn't been driven for a few days. So aesthetically, the color and the dirtiness is all going to blend together very soon. Now, as stated, this bumper is rated to carry a winch. The Fairlead thing, the Fairlead hole in the front is covered up with our front license plate because we're not going to put a winch on this thing, at least not yet, because my goal is to just have it hold up. That's what I'm looking for. That's my purpose in buying this bumper, because of course the last bumper was just horrible and it wouldn't support its own weight. So I'll be happy if this thing can just simply last, not develop any stress cracks or fractures or breaks or tears or anything squirrely. I want to point out again that all the crashing and bassing that you see on this channel when we go up these black diamond trails or whatever, none of that ever hits the front bumper. So when we had our old front bumper on this thing, some people, I think, might think that the bumper is getting hit. The bumper is up way high. I know it doesn't look like it's up high, but this bumper and the DV8 bumper before, they're way high, yet we've never, ever hit that bumper. What actually gets hit is the front skid, which is all the way down there. Those are by RCI, and the skids go all the way back to the gas tank. Those are what you hear getting banged and clanged. That's what's getting beat up, and those things are bent, but again, they're not broken. There's no cracks. There's no issues. The DV8 bumper never, ever hit a rock or banged on anything. So make no mistake, that thing tore itself apart under its own weight and lack of engineering and poor design.
Oh boy.
So you might look at this turn signal here and think, well, it's kind of low, it's going to ruin your approach angle. But going back to what I said about the last bumper and kind of the true approach angles and the true, stuff you're hitting on this car, this is up high. I know, you might think, oh, you can, if this wasn't here, you'd have more approach angle. But truly, if we draw a line from the tire diagonal to the first thing it's going to hit somewhere down there. So this stuff here is not in the way. I'm not concerned about it hitting a rock or anything weird. The old DV8 bumper went just as low. Right where my hand is and where this turn signal light is where the old DV8 bumper side piece went, and again, we've never hit that. So it's not going to affect the approach angle playing around with these lights on the side. Remembering that the OEM Lexus bumper goes all the way down to here, literally like a NASCAR with a body kit. You've got all the approach angle with this LilB's bumper that you could want. As you can see, there's front recovery points on this thing. You can use those if you want. We don't put shackles in there because we live off-road, and if we did, those things metal shackles would wallow out. So I know that may look cool and look blah, 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 but it doesn't make practical sense out here. So we keep the shackles all in the back in a box. But if you don't live off-road and you're just going off-road on the weekends, you can put the shackles, up front if you want. I should make an installation note that there is a skid under here. So right under here where my hand is touching, that is a skid. In reality, really, it's a filler plate because, again, you got to be trying. You got to be trying on purpose to hit the skid underneath of your already high clearance bumper. The lowest part on this car, remember, is the front differential down here. So your actual LilB's front skid plate should never be hit. But it is there, they do provide it, and it covers up the space between the front differential skid and the whole radiator area in front of the radiator, really in front of the condenser. I didn't show the installation of that, but it's very straightforward. It's just 6 or 8 little countersunk screws, and that's it. Oh, it does connect to the frame. So if you're wondering how the LilB's bumper connects to the frame, it actually connects to the front radiator support through 2 existing bolts. There is a OEM bracket that's in the way that you'll have to either take out or lower, but all you need to know is the order is this: frame of the GX, LilB's bumper front skid, then the OEM bracket, and then anything else you got connected, like your skid plates. Now you got all sorts of space for lights on this thing. There's like a 2-position rail on each of the side wings of this front bumper, and you can hang whatever type of pod light that you want. There's also another smaller rail on the side, and that's where we hung the turn signals. So you got a rail here to hang stuff, and you got 2 long rails up front to hang stuff. So you can mix and match and do whatever you want. Keep in mind that, of course, your OEM incandescent turn signals are gone, so you're going to have to figure out turn signal stuff. That can be kind of tricky because there's not really any bona fide pod turn signal lights that are only forward facing. There are some truck ones that kind of, shine the light forward and backward like trucks do. Talking like big rigs, but I'm not trying to light up the entire wheel well yellow every time I turn. So my solution was to find one of these pod lights that has a driving light in it, but also has on the sides proper turn signal amber lights, and just use the amber portion. You could wire up this center portion separately to another switch or relay or whatever, and use that as more fog lights or whatever you want to do.